Peace, family. My name is Vicki Dillard, and thank you so much for tuning into my personal channel here at VickiDillard.tv. I hope you can hear and see me okay. I don't see anybody in the chat as of yet, but I'm going to keep going. I am so pleased to be with you today, dear family. But as you come in, be sure to come in giving me a big thumbs up, thumbs up. Be sure to like and be sure to share the broadcast. Yes, thank you so very much, family. Let me try to let a few people know what's going on here if I can. Okay, I see some. Okay, somebody said, "Hey, Queen Vic." Okay, well, somebody sees me, even though this thumbnail is off. Hey, Queen Vicky. Somebody said. Somebody said. I don't know what that Zoom. What you say? XOM Pro Light. Peace divine. Okay, okay. Well, hopefully somebody can see me okay, because like I said, my screen is not doing right in the thumbnail. I don't know why it's doing all this. But anyway, family, let me get to where I am going today. How is the family? We are back in action today, family. So thank you so much for joining me today. And I'm not sure why this is showing up like this. Okay, family, let me just keep going. I want to bring something to your attention that's been going on for some days now. Of course, I have not gone live here on my personal channel, but I'm here today. Hey, gorgeous. Hey, beautiful. I love you, Vicky. You look fabulous. Okay, great to see you. Okay. I love me some. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I see a few of you all are in here, family. Thank you so much for joining me today. Family, this has been going on, what I just mentioned before, for quite some time. It's been in the news. Um, y'all know how I get down. No matter what's going on, even if you don't see me live, if there are some elements of a particular topic, I'm going to discuss it. But thank you all so much for your patience. How many of you all know I've been more consistent this year, but for the past couple of weeks, it's been crazy. I won't get into it right now, but you all know I'm always taking care of myself, of course, first and foremost, making sure that I'm good. And then we're going to make it happen, make it do what it do. Yes, while I'm doing all my other things behind the scenes in my health. Yes. But I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Donna, your gift, your generous gift is blessed 1,000-fold. Okay, looks like I see one of my moderators, Miss Sharifa. Hey, precious peace, supreme goddess, and be one famous priest, supreme goddess, back to you. Thank you so very much. So, family, I know this has been in the news, like I said, some days now, but I want to talk about this subject among many others. And then I also, let me see if I can get this. Yeah, I don't even know if I can do this right now or not. But anyway, family, thank you all so much for your patience. On the count of three, for those of you that have it as you come in, be sure to give me a big thumbs up, and share the broadcast. Yes, on the count of three. Would you do that? On the count of three. On the count of three. Everybody be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Are you ready? Vicki, you look fabulous. Thank you so much. You should have been in. Okay, well, okay. Everybody hit that thumbs up button. Hit that thumbs up button and share on the count of three. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Share. Thank you so very much for doing that, dear family. Okay, let's get to where we're going. Are y'all ready? Family. Now, how many of you all been hearing and seeing what's been going on in the news about all the Target stuff, right? And the brouhaha and the fallout from Dr. Pastor, or whatever you want to call him, Jamal Bryant. And the one of the main organizers on the ground that initially started this in Minneapolis. Y'all, this is really fascinating. I'm gonna play you some clips here in just a moment. I'm gonna keep them real short for obvious reasons, but I want you all to watch a little bit of this clip that I'm going to show you related to civil rights activist and lawyer Nikema Levy Armstrong. Now, she is one of the main founders. Well, she is the founder of what says here to be the Racial Justice Network, which launched a boycott in February 2025 with Monique Cullors Dottie, co-founder of Black Lives Matter Minnesota, and Jelani Hussein, executive director of CAR Minnesota. So these folks on the ground in Minnesota are the ones that basically set off this latest boycott. Well, family, you know, I have to y'all know I take care of my health, you know, because of serious issues over the years and all this kind of stuff. And one of the big things that I have to do, that I'm going to be totally transparent with you. Yes, I've got several different challenges. Look, y'all, I've been getting some results because I be seeing some of y'all be noticing that your sister's been doing, making some improvements. Yes. But one of the things that I have to do a lot to make sure that I don't become real sick is I have to make sure that when I'm dealing with topics like R0land, there's a special process that child, I got to go through a whole detox of purging. My doctors and my team, all the people, child, they be trying to help me out. It takes a minute to recover. So when I'm even doing research, just researching it just shake me up a lot. You understand what I'm saying? So it's really, I suffer. I really do, honest to goodness, suffer. Whenever I have to even look at the man's name, when I have to see whatever that is rolling and bouncing, and it just does something to my spirit. It just throws off all the progress I made. And I admit I got a ways to go. So I got to do stuff in doses. Y'all understand? But I do it for y'all, for the people, for the sake of truth. You understand? Because I'm allergic. There's a lot of, it triggers. You see what I'm saying? It does a lot of triggering. So I got to really watch my health whenever I'm discussing research and looking at stuff related to, what's his name? R0land. Because he forgettable like the Karens and stuff. Everybody hit that thumbs up button, share. Yes, make sure everybody that's watching, make sure you're subscribed. Let's get to where we're going. Let me not mess around. Y'all ready for this? So with that being said, y'all, I had to look at several different things. Why y'all laughing at me? I had to look at several different things, family. And I mean several different things before y'all. Let me get it together. Okay, family, I'm playing this under the Copyright Act of 1976. So, family, I'm going to be really breaking up. I'm gonna be stopping. You know, I'm gonna stop and go, and I'm doing that for obvious reasons because I don't want to be fooling around with this knucklehead because I'm using some of the a portion of the clip. Yes. Now I want y'all to listen to something here in just a minute. Y'all hold your seatbelts. Don't say I didn't warn you. If you got babies, just know that the scenes you're getting ready to see might be disturbing because it's him. Some of y'all maybe say, well, is it cussing? Is it profanity? Is it nudity? Baby, it's just its own type of violence. looking at him. So I always like to do my due diligence and give the disclaimer. Every time you got to look at him, it might cause some kind of reaction. So while I'm talking, maybe just turn the screen, put the phone down, or whatever device you're looking at. And for sure, for God's sake, get the babies out the room. we gotta protect the babies. We have a responsibility, unlike the Epstein class. They don't care about the babies. We have to care. Talk black to me, somebody. Okay, family. Now watch this. While I'm getting this up, let's see. Here we go. Let's see. Okay. I'm getting it together, y'all. Everybody be sure to share. Let other folks know that you're watching me live. And thank you all for your patience while I do this really, really quick. My team is actually asking for something, and I'm doing something real fast for them. Everybody, are you subscribed to my text list at 303? What is it? 303 527 2572. Can somebody put that text, my text list in the chat? Everybody make sure you're subscribed. That way you're receiving notifications. And not only that, family, I apologize. We're going to get there. I say we are going to get there. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. 303-527. I'm sorry, 303-529. I'm sorry, 303-529-2572, Precious. 303-529-2572. Y'all, when these tech things come up, I just have to do it, baby. Okay, here we go. Y'all, watch this. So you all have to understand something as it relates to the irrelevant bootleg class. Are y'all listening? Now, I want to be very, very blessed from London. Good to see you, Precious. Everybody, make sure y'all see the text message. Thank you, Miss Sharif, for 303-529-2572. Everybody, make sure that you are subscribed to my text list. Yes? Thank you so very much. Now, family, now that I'm done with all this little miscellaneous stuff, good night, nurse. I want you all to watch something here real quick, okay? Now, when you're dealing with the bootleg class, the dead, old, useless black media, are y'all listening? When you're dealing with dead, old, useless black media, you've got to understand something. Vicki Dillard has been calling them out for years and years now, right? But I am considered to be an alternative voice, an influential one, but an alternative voice. So even though, as you all know, some pretty high profile folks that are a part of the establishment media and circles, they watch me, they copy me, and then they turn around and do a twist or take a seed of what I'm saying and to try to make a story or to understand the traction or to get traction with their audiences, and certainly to get a glimpse, because I have the pulse of the people. They want to make sure that they're tapped into the pulse of the people, what's being said, so that they can do their best to try to counter it. Are y'all listening? How many of you all know that that's exactly what took place with the elections? Look at me, that the Democrats lost. The Democrats lost the presidency, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. Why do I bring that up? I'm bringing that up because you got to understand mainstream news outlet people, the black looking media and other folks, they were telling y'all to vote and to vote Democrat and to vote for nothing. Remember? So how is it those that are a part of establishment media and in acceptable and approved circles, how is it that all of their talking points, are y'all listening? How is it that all of their talking points was for nothing, useless? Because they did not get the results that they were looking for all in one, pretty close to one major voting cycle. That's because the influence, not what it looks like in traditional circles, but the influence is coming from voices such as Vicki Dillard. And this is the reason why the establishment seeks to sideline, prevent, frustrate, and foil the elevation of my voice in other places and spaces. Do you understand? Those establishment approved Negroes that are nothing more than bones and biscuits. Somebody put a bone in the chat. Put the bone that has the meat in the bone. Those bones and biscuits that misrepresent the black people, those bones and biscuits that misrepresent black people, they do so because for individual reasons. They're easily, they're a cheap sale. You don't have to offer them much. Just say, sometimes I'm gonna let you on CNN. But they wink and they be playing and they be knocking on wood, knowing they lying to that ninja. Or they'll say, hey, we're going to let you be on Bernie Sanders' campaign. We got 1 million consultants, but we're going to call you a senior consultant. How about that for a promotion? How about that as being something? And then we're going to play you and make you think that you got a chance in hell of becoming the press secretary if he win. And then we're going to trick you because behind the scenes, the real person that we're going to let be press secretary, we all of us together going to play you because we're going to use you to do our bidding against black folks during the campaign. And then we're going to play your dumb self when it's time for us to really act on what we said. And we're going to humiliate you. Same with Joy Reid. Of course, I was talking about Simone Sanders in that instance. Same with Joy Reid. Same with Don Lemonade. Same with Tiffany Cross. Same with Angela Rye. All these people have direct connections to Washington, D.C., direct connections to establishment media, and they're all fired. All of them people I just named, among others, they all fired. Somebody say fired. Look at me, y'all. What does that tell you? I said, what does that tell you? While y'all sitting there listening to those losers that's in the official positions, the people that told y'all to take the shots, and now you're finding out that there's some other sickness and disease in the shots. And there's some stuff that some of y'all may experience later down the road for taking them shots. Some of our people are been experiencing some stuff. You understand? Those people that told you, that mocked you for doing your own research, those people that came against Vicki Dillard, those people that want you to think that because we're not in certain circles or because you can't see the fullness of my impact in one broadcast, they want you to be tricked about your own power. But those folks don't have jobs. Jobs that they wanted. And the system that they serve. Somebody put some garbage cans in the chat. Threw them all the way away. Somebody say all the way away. Somebody say all the way away. Somebody say all the way away. Now look at me. How is it that those folks with those high profile positions, I thought that meant something by being in that position, y'all. But how is it all those voices and those people that are in those establishment positions, how come they did not convince the black electorate in large enough numbers to change the trajectory of the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives? That's some big lose. That's some big time losing right there. All in one fell swoop. Talk back to me, somebody. Everybody hit that thumbs up button. Share, share, share. Then when I say share, I mean share. Don't just be sitting up here watching me and moving on like you didn't hear me say share, beloved. Please share. I thank you so much. And be sure to check to make sure that you're subscribed to my channel. Yes? Now watch this. Now, do y'all have the babies out the room so that it can be safe for me to play this? Because we cannot have them scarred for life by watching this ninja. They have to be pretty close to adult age to be able to take this to process what's on this scene. The scene being rolling. Somebody said Trump losing the midterms. Yeah, he probably will be, but let's focus on what I'm talking about, baby. Y'all know I can't stand Trump. Y'all know I see him equally as the devil, but I want you to focus on what I'm getting ready to say right now, because that's what's important. I'm going to break down while I'm talking about this Target stuff. Now, back to what I'm saying. Shout out to my brother Warren. He said, get the babies. Yes, I mean that, baby. Get the babies. Get the babies. You got to protect the babies. See, the Democrats, this is the other thing. This is a side note while we talking about the babies. Remember I told you we got to care about the babies because your government and your world leaders and your religious people, they don't. They all in the Epstein files. Not only that, don't you let the Democrats play you. How many of y'all know that none of the Democrats are calling for there to be an exhaustive and in-depth investigation? None of them are coming out saying that if any of that stuff is true about them messing with babies, being pedophiles, sexually violating children and women and men and some boys, but mostly women and children. If it's true that they did that, how come y'all not hearing them call for the death penalty? If it's true, how come y'all not hearing them to call for an investigation of the entire file and to expose everybody that's in it? How come y'all don't hear the Democrats and the Republicans outrage that they are accused of murder and eating bodies for rituals? Raise your hand if you think that's weird. I said, raise your hand if you think that's weird. Don't get it confused if you see one or two Democrats saying that Trump is covering up the Epstein files because Trump is in it. Look at me, y'all. Don't be stupid. Look at me. The Democrats are only focusing on one small element of Trump because they want to cover for their Democrat buddies and sisters that's all in the Epstein files. Look at me, family. Before Trump got in office, major Democrat folk were accused of being a part of Pizzagate and other pedophile, criminal organizations. That's your Democrat and Republican Party. They had access to these same files that they could have released, but they didn't. Do y'all understand this? So when you hear a Jasmine Crockett, or you see a black CBC person out there saying something like Trump is covering up the files, they're tricking you because they throwing the word Epstein out there and they want you to think that they actually give a crap. They don't. You need to equally ball everybody up, call all of them sick, twisted, vile individuals, and demand a full-fledged investigation. Demand the death penalty where it applies. You need to be hearing Joy, who does not have a cable show anymore. She out there trying to rebrand. You need to ask her, say, Joy, don't you agree that all parties, Republicans and Democrats, all of the Epstein files need to be looked into. Joy, don't you disagree with all of the rape that's alleged in there, Joy? Joy. John Podesta, Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, and your husband's former chief of staff, he deep Pizzagate. When y'all was saying Pizzagate was a sham, pizza is all through the thighs. Why y'all laughing? That's what I need y'all to be saying to her. Y'all see where they even talking about the pandemic in there, right? Y'all see that there's evidence of it that was pre-planned. Remember Joy, Don Lemon, and all the rest of them are the ones that got out there in front during the COVID and urged the Biden administration to get tougher on us because Black folks were the most vaccine resistant group of people out there. Black folks lost homes, foreclosed on, evicted, cars was snatched and everything because folks were refusing to take the shot, so they was losing their jobs. Y'all remember that? Look at me. When folks were trying to expose the criminality of the pharmaceutical industry, folks like myself, Joy, there's no way she and some of the other Black boule did not know or did not hear certain elements. There was some illegalities going on, that there was some malfeasance going on, that there may have been some malpractice going on, and there were some other explicit things that they may have known. And these are the folks that kept trying to cram it down your throat. And now you guys are seeing that it's said to credibly be traces of HIV that was in there and some other stuff. Now, if you were intelligent enough to attend my offline 911 underground webinars, how many of y'all attended some of my 911 underground webinars that I did several during COVID and after? Somebody raise your hand if you attended one of 4 or 5 that I did. And they was deep, hours long. I brought in Brother Reed Islam for a couple. I brought in Dr. Virologist Dr. R0land, excuse me. She said I was there. I did one by myself. Look at me. The very people that's in the news today. Don't nobody say it in the chat. Look at me. Look at me. Netanyahu and his people. How many of y'all know that I broke down using Black scholarship that there was some stuff that was cooked up in a lab over there with the United States quote unquote ally before COVID ever hit? And I gave you the receipts for it. How many of y'all know I had to talk about that kind of stuff offline? How many of you all know that a white media publication put little old Vicki Dillard in their newspaper? They even posted my flyer. Y'all know how I post sometimes on Instagram when I was on different networks and I was letting folks know I'm getting live. They put that flyer in there in the newspaper because I talked about in that, because I was doing a bunch of videos, but I had to stop using the word. How many of y'all remember we couldn't even use the word? I started calling it Coco, then everybody started calling it Coco. How many of y'all know they start cracking down on the algorithm and stuff, so we couldn't even say certain words? We definitely couldn't go into detail about stuff. So that's when I came up with the idea of doing a low-cost event offline so that I could give you all the information. I gave y'all the details years ago. So the very people that's at war right now, the very people that's committing genocide, do you all know that I gave you all some of the receipts to show they was in a lab cooking up some stuff? How many of y'all remember that? Yep. How many of y'all remember that? Yeah. So somebody said we had to speak in code. Exactly, Precious. Everybody hit that thumbs up button. Share, share, share. Why am I bringing that up? Do not forget, it was R0land Martin. It was Joy Reid. I keep bringing them up because these are some of the major faces of people that was trying to force us to take the shot. And there's no way in hell that they did not know that we were objecting to it because of incidents that we were hearing from the Black family, from genuine concerns. And there's no way that some of them did not know some of this was going on, but they were still demanding that we take it. Do you all understand that this is the reason why I believe that not only should the pharmaceutical companies and not only your U.S. government officials and other entities and individuals should be held criminally liable, but I believe Joy Reid and the rest of them should too. That's how you need to be talking FBA. That's how you need to be talking Black America. And if you're watching me from around the world, that's how you need to be talking. When I was telling you all from a few years ago that R0land's name was in the WikiLeaks drop, R0land's name in the WikiLeaks files connected to Hillary Clinton's emails that was connected to John Podesta. John Podesta, the nasty little credibly accused pedophile. Allegations with him related to pedophilia. So I'm being real clear on that. The allegations. That's why R0land's name came up. It was connected to that. Hillary Clinton. John Podesta was who again? Hillary Clinton's chairperson and her husband's chief of staff during one of his administrations. So before the recent Epstein release, you mean to tell me that Roland Martin, Angela Rye, and none of them folks that directly worked in Washington, D.C., or with top Democrat folks, you telling me that they didn't know anything about this pedophilia that was going on and this murder and this kidnapping and this child trafficking? Look at me. The way you all need to be talking, we need to be demanding that there be an investigation to see what they may or may not have known. And let me tell you something. Simone Sanders got deep connections all through D.C. She still worked in Kamala's office after Joe Biden won, even though they never made her press secretary. Look at me. Do you know if they were aware of credible allegations as this was going on and they didn't report it, even if nobody did nothing, do you all know that the Congressional Black Caucus, the Simone Sanders, the Roland Martins, and all of them that's directly connected to them folks, we need to be figuring out ways, talking to attorneys and looking at the rules and regulations to link them into being held accountable for that, because they had a responsibility to file a grievance and to make that public? No, Roland was sitting his chunky, bouncy, juicy ass on stage telling Hillary, let's do the wobble. Do you all hear what I just said? You and I need to be pushing in a very serious way, demanding that Congress and all of those folks be investigated one way or another. We need to hold public hearings to see what they knew or may have known about this beforehand. Why? Why y'all laughing at me? Somebody said chunky. Yes, maybe chunky, bouncy, gooey, dewy. Look at me. Why? Because if they're not doing the business of Black Americans, if they're not making sure that we're good and we're getting justice, that means that your Black-looking Congress people are covering for criminals. Look at me. Under color of law. That's how you need to be talking. And so because you ninjas don't want to give us reparations, and because you guys are not doing what you ought, because you're not doing what we tell you to do, you need to pay. I'm telling y'all what you need to be doing. You watch the Vicki show to get information, and you, family, need to be figuring out what you're going to do something about the issues I'm bringing up. Do y'all understand that? You guys need to be saying to Congressional Black Caucus that since you all flew to meet Netanyahu 1 month before October 7th, and you guys have not been transparent with us about more details about exactly what you talked about, we want the CBC to have an open hearing about what they discussed with Netanyahu. We want to know, why did they take a trip that was sponsored by an AIPAC affiliate And then lo and behold, almost 1 month to the day of October 7th, they met with him, even when Joe Biden was refusing to meet with him at the time. We need to know whether or not the CBC trafficked sensitive information to the United States on behalf of Netanyahu and Joe Biden and whoever else. See, that's how we got to talk. Since you ninjas don't want to do what we say, we're talking about investigations for Epstein. We need to do that anyway. We need to be talking about investigations linking the Congressional Black Caucus to crimes against humanity. And you need to involve Joy Reid in it, Simone Sanders, and all the rest of them. That's how you need to be talking. Because that means if they're not doing the bidding of Black folks, and they aren't, that means that they're doing the bidding of Epstein. Now you all see why they came against Vicki so bad. That's the conversation. Do not let Joy and R0land and other people change the subject. Don't let them tell y'all. If you hear a Democrat or the Black Boule class and all them fools start talking about Epstein, if they're not showing outrage for murder and pedophilia and rape, if they're not saying they're calling for an investigation across the board, if you don't hear them say that they want whatever comes up from the investigation, if you don't hear them say that they want the punishment to the full extent of the law, then that tells you everything you need to know. You need to be asking them, Joy, R0land, Simone, before Trump got in office, were you aware of any of these allegations? Were you aware that these folks were coming forward saying X, Y, and Z took place with both Republican and Democrats? R0land, you were doing behind the scenes secret stuff with the Hillary Clinton campaign. We know, and we have more than enough evidence for that, credible evidence for that. With the emails. R0land, your name came up related to John Podesta, Hillary Clinton's, the chairman of her campaign. R0land, were you aware that he was accused? We're not saying, be careful. Notice the language I'm using. Not that R0land saw something. Were you aware, R0land, that John Podesta, Hillary Clinton's chairman, was accused very deeply and seriously and credibly of Pizzagate and doing inappropriate things with children? Were you aware of John Podesta's brother that's involved in some shady stuff too? What appears to be shady stuff, let me say it like that. R0land, were you aware of anybody else that was in Congress or that is in Washington, D.C. related to child trafficking? Simone, how about you? When you were inside of the White House, when you were in Congress, when you were in Kamala Harris's office, were you aware that the Epstein files exist? What were you told about it at that time? Do you see how we're being careful? Don't jump to certain conclusions that using certain specific things, y'all, so they can turn around and say that you're lying. See, that's how they get you. Pay attention to the language and the specificity in what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. Don't you dare let Joy Reid change her branding now that she's not at MSNBC. You all need to be helping me link all of them for crimes against humanity related to that and the COVID and all the other stuff. And we need to start with them to teach them a lesson first. Why am I bringing that up now? Do you all understand that right now? I'm not nowhere even on my topic yet. I'm almost there. Do you all understand that what they did during the pandemic, they're trying to do something else right now? But they were only able to shut down literally the world because of voices that were in the media that helped to create fear and resistance against sound voices like mine. No, you better teach them a lesson. And you better make them cry uncle, baby. Because right now they planning some other little sick, twisted stuff today. And they plan to go further. And they're going further with it because everything didn't work out the way they expected to with the COVID stuff. Even though millions of people died, and some of y'all that took it may have something still dangling in your body that you don't know about yet. Did you all hear what I said right there? Enough of that, Vicki. Get to where you're going. Everybody hit that thumbs up button. Share, share, share. That's how we need to be talking to about R0land. We need to be linking R0land to crimes against humanity. Possibly. Looking into it. Notice, investigate as an accomplice. People that had knowledge. Do you all understand that when Joy worked for MSNBC, the media have certain responsibilities? They have to follow certain rules. You understand that? They can't just sit there and say, well, oh, I didn't actually murder the little girl, but I knew about it. Guess what? Just like everybody, regular people would have to. That's what we're gonna put that noose around their necks. That's the strategy, FBA. Our focus needs to hold them accountable for what they did to get us to take them shots, and what they knew or may have known, may or may not know about the Epstein files. Look, that's why we're calling for an investigation. That's why we're saying we need clarity. That's why we're telling them that we need transparency. That's why we're saying right now that all of them that was involved in media, tell them things. Don't throw away none of them emails. Don't throw away no paperwork, documentation, or any of that kind of stuff that you had related to them. We need to know whether or not Joy Reid and R0land and the rest of them will still keep in contact with Hillary Clinton's people, whether they was on the campaign or not. I'm talking about long after Hillary lost. We need to know that when Joy was on TV, we need to know, have they been in contact with Hillary or her team or a person that's related to her, connected to her? And did they get some of their talking points and inside information? We need to know all that. Full transparency. Somebody said they made money. They may have made money, but don't do that with the money, because if you say, oh, so and so made money, they may be able to say, well, I got my accounts to show I didn't get money. But hell, for all we know, they probably indirectly got money, meaning that somebody may have put their child through school. You see what I'm saying? So we got to be careful with the language. I'm trying to tell you what to say. Say what I say. Just say what I say. But that's for you all to do the groundwork. Not look at Vicki and see what else Vicki can do. You're getting information from me so that you can implement this. This is going to be a pressure point that we need to exploit with their funny looking selves, because they're not doing our business. They're doing Epstein's business. They're doing Pfizer's business. They're doing the business of the people that was okay getting you shot up and you losing body parts, family members, homes and houses. Look at me. Now you know why R0land was calling people like me simple Simon mother effers. Now you know why in 2019 Joy Reid started attacking specifically us by name and put us up on a chart to be targeted. Now you understand that when Tiffany Cross was on MSNBC on the weekend, remember? Before they fired her silly self, she specifically told her audience not to listen to people like us. Somebody said R0land is Haitian. Well, yes, but that's not the point. Stay focused on what I'm saying. I'm being real strict about what I'm saying, y'all, because we got to be effective. All of those ancillary things that you're talking about, it has its place when it's time to talk about that, but it's not. You need to be so obsessed with what I'm saying right now and the strategy I'm talking about. Somebody said, Vicki, you were on their asses. And of course I was, but look now. They're attempting to rock you back to sleep and make you think that all is forgotten and forgiven. No, they are directly connected to the undoing of Black people, just like Pfizer, just like a lot of the rest of the other folks are. I'm saying we need to use that angle. They need to feel like they need to be under investigation. They need to understand the CBC. All of them type folks need to understand not only for laws in the United States, but also possibly international laws. Do you all understand that the implications of the stuff that's in those files and those that fail to say or do anything about it? It's not only a domestic, a local, or a state issue. How many of you all know it's possible international implications for that? You got to be more sophisticated. Do what I'm telling you to do. I'm saying it like I'm saying it. They're not doing our bidding. That means that they're an enemy to us. Black looking people are an enemy to us. They're fooling around with pedophiles and killers. So that's what you need to be doing. That's what we need to be tagging, writing about, all of that. That's our talking points now. Since you all don't have time to talk about reparations, we understand why you don't now. Since you ain't got time to get us laws for Black folks, perhaps investigations for crimes against humanity. Somebody say exactly, immigrants cosplay us. That ain't the point of what I'm saying. Because all them folks that I'm mentioning aren't just immigrants. Don't talk about that when I'm talking about something else. I said, don't talk about that when I'm talking about something else. Because you ain't doing nothing about the bottom line of where I'm trying to go. So that's your marching orders. Your marching orders is what can you do about holding, first and foremost, Black congressional people accountable for meeting with Netanyahu a month before October 7th. For the Epstein stuff, we need investigations. That's what I think is. We need investigations with the CBC on what they may or may not have known related to all the stuff with Epstein, even before Trump got in office. And why is it that the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus in Congress, a Democrat Congress and president and all them, why didn't they open up the files and all this other stuff that was accessible to them? Why are we doing this? Because you ain't got time to talk about cutting our check. You are not using your time in office for our business, but you're using it for real gang banging, real criminal stuff. And you better put R0land in there with them. Put the media, Black media looking folks, all the ones that's got connection to DC, all the ones that had connections to those campaigns. That's why we need investigations to know how deep it went. Put Simone's funny looking self, every CBC person you can think of, all of them. That's how we got to do this. How many of you all know, I covered this a couple of years ago, Fox News was in the news, and I'm nowhere even on my topic yet. Fox News was in the news because they ended up paying, was it $700 or $800 million, almost $1 billion? It was some crazy number. I can't remember what the number is. Some crazy number to a voting company called Dominion. They got Fox News right when they was in trial. They was getting ready to do their first day on trial. Fox News stopped the trial and say, hey, we'll settle. Why? That Dominion company, their lawsuit was so significant, not just because of how much money they end up getting out of Fox News, because Fox News messed up their business for lying on them, because Fox was lying, saying that their voting machines was letting the Democrats win, in so many words. Well, Dominion was able to make it through discovery and all the preliminary trial stuff to where the judge refused to dismiss the case and forced Fox News to go to trial. So right before all the stuff was getting ready to come out during the first day of trial, Fox News said, forget it, we're going to sit down and settle. Why am I bringing it up? I'm saying we need to use that same strategy with holding Black media accountable that was in mainstream media. Just like Fox could be sued for lying, and knowing that they funny looking selves was that's a recent case precedent. I'm saying our attorneys and all them folks need to be looking along those lines on how we can hold Joy and the rest of them knowing that they was lying about COVID, knowing they was lying about a whole bunch of other stuff. Y'all understand that? That's the precedent that said. Vicki is brave and a beautiful one. Thank you all for your kind compliments. Yeah. We got to use different kind of strategies. We're not going to let Joy wiggle out of nothing. Okay, Vicki, enough for all that. Everybody hit that thumbs up button. Y'all, I went on a long rant, didn't I? But I thank you so much for your patience. What happened? What I'm showing you right now is under the Copyright Act of 1976. Y'all ready for this? Everybody hit that thumbs up button, share, share, share. Look, how many of y'all been hearing about all of the Target stuff, right? How many of y'all been hearing about the Target stuff? What happened? This headline is from USA Today. Of course, you all know about it. I haven't been live on my channel since then. The past few days. This is dated March 18th. I always do this. Don't I be turning every which way so y'all can see it. This is a headline from from USA Today. Y'all see this headline? Let me turn it the other way. Come on now. Here we go. Y'all see it? Pastor called off Target boycott, then backlash began. Y'all see this from the other day? Right? Y'all see this from a few days ago, right? Recently, right? Y'all listen. When Atlanta pastor Jamal Harris Bryant called off his year-long Target fast, the announcement set off fireworks at a hastily convened news conference in front of Target's Minneapolis headquarters on March 11th. Grassroots activists denounced Bryant and told the world a nationwide boycott over the company's rollback of diversity, equity, and inclusion was not his to end. Target shoppers, especially Black women, mobbed his Instagram page to say he didn't speak for them. 2 days later on his podcast, Let's Be Clear, Bryant conceded that he, quote, misread the room. I was reading from a different sheet of music, he said. I wanted to apologize to you for being a leader that was out of touch with what it is that the community were demanding. When Target scraped his DEI policy shortly after President Donald Trump took office, boycott sprang up across the country. I'm just giving y'all a little background. Of course, many of you know this already. From church pulpits to community gatherings, the policy U-turn was widely viewed as a betrayal of Black Americans who had propped up the retail giant's fortune. The national uproar mostly died down until this new controversy put the Target boycott back in public bullseye. So family, look, he got so much backlash, Jamal Bryant, that he went to Instagram, made an apology. But there's more. Now, I don't really care for Pastor Jamal Bryant. I mean, I don't. I had respect years ago for some stuff Tamika Mallory was doing. But she was doing so much outrageous stuff that I had to end up speaking to it. I was still very respectful behind that. But then she ended up doing some weird stuff and treating me real funny. She acknowledged, even I told her, I messaged her and told her, hey, even though we disagree with certain things, sis, we can still just agree to disagree on some stuff. We have unique perspectives that the people I'm sure wouldn't mind. She did see the message. And then after that, she decided she gonna stand with the Amanda Seals and all them kind of folks. And she blocked me. And when some of my supporters, when I was on other networks and stuff, that had followed me over time that knew what happened, some of you all saw her live and y'all questioned her. Y'all were brave enough to question her and ask, was it true that she had cut me off? And was it true that I had reached out saying, hey, we both may disagree on some things, but hey, we can still, just agree to disagree. But the people, for the sake of the community and the people, hey, we can still, just agree. We can agree and where we don't agree, but that there need to be any tension, that kind of stuff. One of you all asked her that when she was on the live, and she lost her damn mind. Start being real ghetto. To my who finna check her, but she didn't just say who gonna check me, boo. She was doing, girl, ma'am. So Amanda Seals, that whole group, they decide they're gonna work together, stand together, is what my belief is. I'm gonna say it like that. Because it was Amanda Seals when Kamala was running. All them remember was Amanda said she don't want to hear nothing about reparations. She don't want to hear nothing about Kamala Harris's record as a prosecutor. Remember, Amanda came out and said all that mess. Some of y'all may not know that. Yeah. Before the elections, Amanda told Black Americans she don't want to hear nothing about no reparations. She wants us to shut up all that talk. She told us do not question Kamala's prosecutorial record. And then when Tamika was on Breakfast Club, Tamika basically denounced one of the guests who mentioned about Joe Biden's failure to really do something substantive for Black folks. And I don't remember all of the details, but I think I did a broadcast on the fact that I played it. To basically, Tamika was acting like she don't want to hear SHIT about reparations either. And Tamika was actually using that platform to claim that Joe Biden was actually doing something substantive for Black folk. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. I just tell the truth and shame the devil. And even my brother said, yes, she sure did. Thank you for that reminder. So my critique of her is not about personal, but how you gonna come out, you all, and just want us to shut up about reparations? How you gonna come out and defend Joe Biden? I don't understand how we can rock with that. Y'all know that's a problem. Vicki, get to where you're going. Vicki, get to where you're going. Y'all ready for this? Again, what I'm showing you right now, family, don't be mad because I don't fool with that ninja too much. So I'm going to hit and miss parts of the video I'm going to play, okay? That's a problem. Even if you can talk about the issues she had with her activism, all that, I'm telling you the issue I have with her is those things that I just said right there. If you're going to sit there and y'all want us to stop talking about reparations and you're going to sit here and pretend like Joe Biden did something for us and you're going to defend him, baby, I don't got nothing for you. Keep this in mind when you get ready to watch when I'm talking. For those of you that's probably wondering, why is it that Tamika may have gotten involved in this? And when the ladies start going off on Tamika, keep this in mind. Y'all see that headline? Tamika is now working with the new mayor of New York, Mamdani. Her and my son. So it is my belief that when you watch this clip real quick of this lady going off about R0land, Tamika, and Nina Turner, all them folks that y'all say got it going on, Keep that in mind. Sometimes people do stuff so they make it look like they really about something when they're working with certain congressional people. That's my belief. I'm being clear about, I believe that that's got something to do with the look of it. But just keep that in mind. Watch this. Where is the clip? So y'all, I'm going to be skipping around. Y'all ready?
Of his more than a year-long Target fast. Many people said, how can you call for the end of a boycott when you were not the only person involved in the boycott? He took to his Jamal Bryant podcast to set the record straight. It was a more than 20-minute video he did. Here's an edited portion of his comments.
Okay, I'm going to skip. I'm going to skip.
The very last thing I ever want to do is be a proponent of division or divisiveness. I want us to be together as one. This week, I failed at doing that. When it is that I called for the end of the Target fast, most in our community and culture were disappointed, angry, frustrated, and bewildered. What did it mean? Have you sold out? Have you given up? You wave the white flag? And emphatically, the answer is no. Publicly, privately, to the press and in conversation, I have heralded out loud the remarkable leadership of Attorney Nakima, Representative Nina, and Sister Soldier Tamika Mallory.
Now, first of all,
they are incredible leaders.
Vicki, just skip. Y'all, okay, that's enough that. Are y'all listening? Now watch this. So he starts by immediately saying he immediately apologizing. He gets into all that. But this ninja is doing a whole Easter speech. This is what this is. This is an Easter speech. Y'all ready for this? Are y'all ready for this? Okay, I'm going to skip around because I just want you all to get just a little idea of this, then the third, because this is too long. And I got to get to some other points about the actual co-founder of the boycott that's initiated from Minneapolis. I want you to hear what she says when she humiliates R0land, Tamika, and Nina Turner. Baby, watch this. So listen to a little bit more of Jamal Bryant's little spiel.
Soul searching to figure out where it is that we are, what it is that we've done, and what missteps were made. And I wanted you to be mindful that there were no private deals. And I've been grateful to be a part of it and excited to see your stick-to-itiveness and your passion. Even when it came to having to check me, I laid down on the train tracks. Y'all came and got me. And it was well-deserved, well-served, and it was well-heard. And so to be clear, as hearing from Soldier Tamika Mallory and Representative Turner and Nakima, they have every intention of moving forward.
Okay,
and
I'm gonna stop right there. Do y'all see how he's mentioning Miss Nakima, the grassroots civil rights attorney who helped to initiate and set this off in the first place, right? You see how Jamal Bryant here is balling up Senator Nina Turner, Tamika Mallory. You know how he throwing up all them black women, balling them all up in one big old gumbo, right? As if they all the same. Y'all keep that in mind, okay? I'm going somewhere with this. Everybody hit that thumbs up button, share, share, share. Watch this. And by the way, family, make sure everybody, quick little break. Make sure if you have not gotten your yummy 2023, we're still in the beginning of the year, this is the first quarter of the year, get your 2026 calendar. This is for both men and women, y'all. It's so yummy. It's a beautiful, inspiring picture for every single month of the year. Isn't that just glorious? Every month, baby, pictures that I have not, baby, I can't show you that one, baby. That other one is just, baby, it's the glory. Y'all seen one similar like this, but baby, it's something that you ain't never seen, baby. Just get it, just get it. every month for men and for women for any kind of occasion. So go to my website at VickiPlanet.com. One of my moderators, would y'all put my website in the chat for me? And also, family, I got my new magazines coming. This is the old magazine cover, but the new one is coming out. I got one for women, for Venus to Manifest, Secrets of the Goddess. That's what the Venus magazine is about. And then I got one for men called Hannibal. Baby, I'm giving y'all the secrets, the command secrets of Hannibal. Baby, thank you, Brother Warren. I'm pinning the website. Am I pinning it? Yes. So my website is above. Go to VickiPlanet.com if you're watching this now or later. Yes. You can also, family, get y'all's mini gavels there. Look, in these cute. And I give you instructions on how you use it magically. In other words, spiritually. So it's a night you can put your whole hand on it, even though it's a mini gavel, but it's real cherry wood. I do a special spiritual process with these, but it's so fun. It's yummy to have. And I'm talking about do magic all at the same time. So you can get all this at my website. Go to the store to order this and go to the front page to see the other items. Yes. Okay. Thank you for indulging my commercial break. Y'all watch this.
A better community for this generation and for the generation that comes behind. Let's roll up our sleeves and do the heavy lifting.
Jamal also said that.
Yeah, I had to skip most of that because of how long this segment is. And again, I have to look out for my health and y'all's health. And I have to make sure that we can secure our future with our babies' mental health. And they cannot be subjected to too much of this from this entity that's on the screen by the name of R0land. Now listen, watch this clip now. Is this the section? So R0land brings on the guest after he played all it, right?
Nina Turner and her group will continue to boycott Target. I confirmed that with her, and she'll be joining us on the show next week. Joining us right now is Nikema Levy-Armstrong, civil rights attorney, co-founder of the National Target Boycott.
Y'all see?
From Minneapolis. Nikema, glad to have you on the show. First off, there's been all sorts of, a lot of people don't even.
Okay, I got to skip that part because R0land just like to hear himself talk. And I got to skip through this because I don't want no problems with these copyright ninjas. Y'all ready? Okay, so I'm skipping on purpose like this. So just bear with me.
Well, first, I want to say I feel like I just watched a theatrical performance. And I need a palate cleanse after what I just heard. Which I do not feel is genuine based upon my own experience in dealing with Jamal Bryant. He knew full well what he was doing when he flew to the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. to call a press conference trying to end the National Target boycott. The amount of upheaval that he has caused is absolutely absurd for us as a community to be dealing with when we have shown unity and coming together and withholding our dollars from Target Corporation. Remember, a company that's based right here in Minneapolis. And
okay, so she's coming out, baby, just firing. Y'all, I told you, be patient with me. I'm breaking the video up like this for a reason. I don't want no issues, and I got to hurry up. Are y'all listening? So R0land, watch how he gonna act. Y'all can already imagine how he getting ready to act. His special guest, who is an attorney, a civil rights organizer, who lives in the state, who's one of the top masterminds that was behind the boycott in the first place, she already shutting the stuff down, baby. Now, I don't agree with a lot of the different aspects that go on with the Target stuff. I don't want to miss the forest for the trees. I'm trying to focus on some specific principles. Y'all understand? So there's some miscellaneous things that she's going to say that I do not want you to be triggered by, family. I want you to focus on certain issues that I'm going to bring up, right? Talk black to me, somebody. Everybody hit that thumbs up button, share, okay? Keep listening. Here we go. Y'all ready? Here we go. She said she need a palate cleanse.
Harm that Target has done. So I am just so deeply disturbed at the actions of Jamal Bryant, not just this week with the foolishness of calling this boycott and calling an end to the boycott and claiming he didn't know what was happening. But from the very beginning, when I saw his attempts to co-opt the work of Black women organizers regarding this boycott, people who lived in the Twin Cities, which I specifically conveyed to him as to why this boycott was so important because of the promises that were made after the murder of George Floyd at the hands of the police. And what did he do? He gaslit me when I said, you are trying to co-opt our work. He had a public...
Do y'all hear what she said? I don't want y'all to miss that. She said she's going off because, not just because of what he recently did to call off the boycott. She said she worked with him from the beginning. That was last year. And she said she called him out early on for trying to co-opt this boycott. Did y'all hear what I said? Did y'all hear what she said? Now look, some of y'all might be boycotting. That's great. I'm not saying I am. And the reason why, I'm going to tell you later, I'm not saying that I disagree, because I believe that her doing it on the grassroots, because some of the things that she explained, to be honest, I was not aware about that George Floyd aspect of it. And that they had promised X number of dollars to the Minneapolis Black family. I did not know that until recently. So I believe that that's an excellent reason for her and them to do what they did. My thing is, I have an issue with certain secondary, tertiary, and other ancillary boycotts, when our primary boycotts as Black Americans would be way more effective if we will all come together on reparations, because that has an overarching effect. And if we're going to use our extraordinary organizing power like they demonstrated there to hold the government accountable, and also some local and corporate entities that are also responsible. How many of y'all know that there are companies that are connected to reparations? I don't understand, why is it why are we doing this company there, that company there? So this is not what this conversation is about. I don't want to get off on that. I'm telling you, I will be all down for that particular strategy she's using and her energy if folks will come together with voices like mine, hundreds of thousands and even millions of FBAs that have made clear what we're trying to do. Why aren't we utilizing that extraordinary machine of organizing and boycotting? Why aren't we using that for something that would have an overarching effect of a large portion of Black Americans economically? And then it will have a direct effect related to other entities and corporations that have everything to do with this notion of reparations. That's my issue. But again, family, let's not put too much emphasis on that. Now, I want you to show how she tearing up the fake fraud, and suspect, y'all's little favorite Black looking media and Black looking street politicians. She's going in on them. And she's somebody that believes in the system. That's what I want to show you. You understand? So I don't want to, she going to say a few things that's like, oh girl, and you roll your eyes at, but I don't want to miss the important things that she's talking about. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Let's not miss the good things she's saying. Watch this.
Just book him on shows like yours, CNN, The Breakfast Club.
Okay, I'm gonna rewind because y'all, she's getting ready to make a major explosive bit of insight. Y'all ready?
This week, with the foolishness of calling this boycott and calling an end to the boycott and claiming he didn't know what was happening. But from the very beginning, when I saw his attempts to co-opt the work of Black women organizers regarding this boycott, people who lived in the Twin Cities, which I specifically conveyed to him as to why this boycott was so important because of the promises that were made after the murder of George Floyd at the hands of the police. And what did he do? He gaslit me when I said, you are trying to co-opt our work. He had a publicist book him on shows like yours and The Breakfast Club to peddle a false narrative, positioning him as the leader of this boycott.
But it wasn't.
Stop right there. Did you hear what he said? She said he did this from the beginning. And when she had a conversation with him about his actions, she said he hired a publicist to book him on shows just like yours, R0land, and on The Breakfast Club and others, to position himself as if he were the leader. Don't y'all dare miss that. I said, don't y'all dare miss that. Did y'all catch that? See, these are important insights. She gonna say some other stuff, like I said, that some of y'all gonna be like, well, Vicki, I don't agree with some of the stuff either, some of her goals there, but some stuff she is saying is this is some good stuff, family, that we need to be paying attention to. So let's not get off. We'll talk about some other aspects and some other disagreements later, but that's not where I'm going with this. Are y'all listening? Are y'all listening? Watch this. And again, she said from the beginning. So don't be focused on his little recent apology.
And all the harm that Target has done.
Listen again.
So I am just so deeply disturbed at the actions of Jamal Bryant, not just this week with the foolishness of calling this boycott and calling an end to the boycott and claiming he didn't know what was happening. But from the very beginning, when I saw his attempts to co-opt the work of Black women organizers regarding this boycott, people who lived in the Twin Cities, which I specifically conveyed to him as to why this boycott was so important because of the promises that were made after the murder of George Floyd at the hands of the police. And what did he do? He gaslit me when I said, you are trying to co-opt our work. He had a publicist book him on shows like yours, CNN, The Breakfast Club, to peddle a false narrative, positioning him as the leader of this boycott.
But it wasn't.
What makes it even more offensive is the fact that women are the ones who have sustained this boycott. Black.
You see how R0land trying to interrupt? No. She giving us some inside information right there. The stuff that the Vicki Dillards have been telling you for the longest about how them devils all work together. She's giving y'all receipts, and she's a voice that believe in the system, and she coming out exposing them. See, that's why I'm saying there's some things that she gonna say about immigrants and stuff like that, but I don't want y'all to be gaslit on that right now. I want you to focus. Let's focus on this other stuff because this is useful for us. She said he booked a publicist, got on CNN, got on the Breakfast Club. She said and got on shows like yours, R0land, to position himself as the leader of this movement from the beginning. R0land, hurry up and start stuttering real hard, bouncing and stuttering. Bouncing, more bouncing, bigger bouncing, wide bouncing, zigzagging bouncing, seesawing bouncing, sliding bouncing, taking a bath, swimming bouncing, baby, massage bouncing, getting your nails done bouncing.
Women, white women, because we control the discretionary income in our households. So you just subjected me to that. I had to respond to it. I couldn't just answer your question as that theatrical performance didn't just happen.
But
she kept saying with that theatrical performance, she is going in.
Women, white women, because we control the discretionary income in our households. So you just subjected me to that. I had to respond to it. I couldn't just answer your question as that theatrical performance didn't just happen.
But the boycott also didn't just involve him. You also had former Representative Nina Turner. You also had Tamika Mallory, co-founder of Until Freedom, and their organizations as well. And then, of course, it spread like wildfire. I remember, Target's memo.
Now, notice how R0land is involving all them other people, and he trying to say when they got involved, basically, it spread like wildfire. Like wildfire. Y'all hold your seats. Y'all ready for this next part? I told you I'm skipping on purpose because I don't want no copyright issues. Y'all listening? Thumbs up, everybody. Don't get bad. I just want you to hear it for yourself, but I'm playing it the way I'm gonna play it for media reasons. Y'all listen. He done brought up Tamika Mallory, right? He brought up Nina Turner, right? Baby, she finna expose him.
Because if any of these people had the power to call and sustain a boycott.
Wait a minute, baby. Wait a minute.
And they could have done it in their cities. When you have places like Walmart.
Let me go back because I want y'all to get the full context. Now the thing is, y'all give me a minute while the device. See, they playing now. Y'all so crazy in the chat. Thank you all for being here. Everybody hit that thumbs up button. Share. Yes.
flower. I remember, Target's memo that they claim was leaked drops January 24th. January 25th, Nina Turner and her organization calls for Target to put DEI back in place, or they were going to launch their boycott on February.
So he defending Tamika, Nina.
29th, you posted on Instagram about your news conference and launching the boycott on February 1st. And then, of course, you had local folks who were on the ground. You had pastors and churches, and then, of course, you had the contingent here in Washington, D.C. that was protesting every week outside of Target. So it wasn't.
And we are the ones who live in the place where Target is headquartered.
Listen.
Because if any of these people had the power to call and sustain a boycott, then they could have done it in their cities.
Whoa.
When you have places like Walmart, Amazon, many other companies that rolled back DEI, and all these people were silent. In our town, when things happen, guess what? We're boots on the ground right away. We don't have to be online calling for a boycott because Target is headquartered here in Minneapolis. So that is what gives us the advantage in this conversation.
But if
this is a hometown company
that
made a specific in the aftermath of George Floyd being killed, and the people who stood up and fought for George Floyd were the ones who declared that this boycott would happen. So let's not get it twisted and bring in everybody and their grandma. You know full well that Target is headquartered here. That's why Tamika, that's why Nina, that's why Jamal had to go to Washington, D.C. to call this press conference, because they're not welcomed in Minnesota after their act.
She said they not welcome in Minnesota. So do you all think Vicki Dillard is wrong when I was calling out Tamika and all the rest of them fools? She said Tamika, Nina, and Jamal Bryant are not even welcome in their city after this. And she said if they had the power to call a sustainable boycott, she said they could have did it in their cities. She said these folks made a promise to us in Minneapolis, Target, after the George Floyd, and they didn't keep it. And she said we the ones started that. Let me tell y'all something. The Tamika Mallorys of the world, those that claim to be little street politicians, those are folks that like to be on the Breakfast Club, all the people that she called out, and anybody that's connected to them fools, they talk to themselves and they think they know better than us. You will hear them fools say, y'all ain't outside, y'all just talking online. Let me tell you something about Vicki Dillard. First of all, half of you all don't know half the stuff I do behind the scenes. That's a sacrifice that I do privately. But before that, I was always known for years, before you funny looking ninjas came online, doing activism, community stuff. My program was called Jailhouse Rock Academy almost 20 years ago. My program was approved by the state where I was going into women's prisons teaching. Homeless stuff. Like I said, activism and other things. You better sit your, can't nobody tell me nothing. And then dealing with an unjust case for years, obviously changed how I engaged with the community. Losing everything in my life years ago. And then dealing with medical stuff. I know you ain't talking to me. Some of you all will look at some of my videos when I made it back into the state, where I was sick as a dog. Some of you all don't recognize me because my body was so shot up, full of steroids and drugs, because your sister with the curly braids was trying to live. And do you all think that I'm going to let some weak, my son's son? You think I'm going to let a R0land Martin check me about anything related to being outside? You don't sit your ass down. My life is that. Where were you all when I was confronting RFK? Where were you all when we were doing the reparations rally in Washington, D.C.? Where were you when I've been doing funding of HBCU students behind the scenes to this day as a sacrifice for myself? Are you supporting a federal prisoner for years and years? Are you supporting other initiatives and names and people that I would never tell you out loud? While you're still dealing with other private challenges? Baby, you can't check me on no damn day and in no lifetime. Don't you ever question me about being outside. Because Trick, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, what are you doing effective? See, the energy that Tamika had about me, who gonna check me, boo? When one of y'all asked her, is it true that Vicki reached out to you? Is it true that Vicki was trying to was trying to be conciliatory with you, even though she said you all both disagree and you just cut her off? Who gonna check me? Let me tell you something. I defended Tamika. You know why? Years ago. Well, a few times I defended her, but one time in particular where I defended her, she was on The View, and they dog walked her ass. Who did? At the time, Meghan McCain, the daughter of a war criminal, John McCain, and a bunch of other women, including Sunny Hostin. You know why? They connected Tamika to basically Minister Farrakhan and tried to call her anti-Semitic. And I was so effective in my defense of Tamika that even Meghan McCain watched it and blocked me after that. From The View. Tamika did not have that energy with them. You know why? Because Tamika was too scared to actually call out the Zionist. Because at the time, Tamika was doing speaking engagements and they was messing with her money. I guess one of the ways maybe she paid her bills, if I remember correctly, is that these little speaking engagements she gets. Guess who was messing up Tamika's speaking engagements? I said, guess who was messing up Tamika's speaking engagements? You don't have the energy to cut them white folks that say they Jewish off, who are responsible for screwing up your career. You see how weak some of y'all are? Oh, no. Some of you ain't got that. Who the hell do you what you out there protesting? I'm not talking about just her. I'm talking about you in general who think you doing something. Trick, you ain't effective. I'm not talking about her now. I'm talking about all y'all as a collective. Trick. What are they effective in doing? None of them times 10 and 1,000 lifetimes could ever compare to the work that I do for the people and have done before I ever came online. You better be very careful. These are the people that told y'all to get shots, some of them. These are the people that stayed quiet when some of you Black women were saying, after I got the shot, my period was abnormal. Some of you all said I was getting fibroids. Some of you all said I'm sick. And they mocked you and told you didn't even know your own body. Vicki Dillard defended you. I'm only using that as one of many examples. Don't you ever let weird ass people fix your lips to pretend like you actually matter. You don't matter to nothing about our revolution, ninja. You ain't about that life for real. If you can't check white Jewish people that screw up your career, and Vicki Dillard stood 10 toes down and defended you, you don't have that same kind of energy for them. But y'all want to check us, you better get your ass out of my face. The same with Nick Cannon. Some of y'all don't. See, some of you knew before October 7th, before all this stuff didn't come out years ago, Nick Cannon. Y'all know he started interviewing conscious type Black folks on this little show he was doing. Guess who got mad? White Jewish people. Nick took down the videos. Guess what else Nick did? Them folks threatened to mess up Nick's career. They messed with one of his primetime shows. Nick ended up apologizing, but then that's what Nick revealed to the world. He didn't even own his own Wild 'N Out show. So he demanded rights to his $1 billion empire, Wild 'N Out. Guess what? Even though Nick apologized, I still had his back because that's the kind of energy I want to see with a brother. If they're going to let you go, he was demanding full ownership of his stuff. Of course, I didn't know at the time he didn't even own his own stuff, but he said it, so I was with it. Watch this. Them Jewish people said and did whatever they did to Nick. Do you all know that they tried to cancel Nick? Do you all know that Nick gave one of his first checks from one of them shows to a Jewish museum? Do you all know that he went on an apology tour for a year to them folks and went to their museums and did all kind of stuff and then took down all his conscious stuff and all the black folks he had on there? And then, after I defended him, had his back, Nick comes out mad at us when he started turning and started giving them folks money and start going to their museums and start doing their bidding after he stood strong at first. Then Nick tried to act like he was going to do something to himself. See, some of y'all don't know this. Nick put out a public thing acting like people was thinking, oh, he going to commit suicide. Like he going to do something. And people was asking me, well, Vicki, would you slow down? Don't be doing back-to-back shows on Nick because he might do something to himself. That nigga all right. That's a trick and a manipulation. And that's when we came up with the phrase, them folks, Nick, tried to cancel you. We were trying to counsel you. That's when we came up with that phrase. The BGR, I mean. And some of you all was contacting me, some pretty high profile people, asking me not to discuss Nick. I knew that was a trick. And don't y'all see him alive and well with a whole bunch of kids? A lot of baby mamas and stuff. Oh, a lot of baby mamas. Mamas on top of mamas and daddies and mamas and mamas and more mamas and more mama baby. Mamas and more baby mama mamas and mama. He said something public like he was going. That was a trick. Look at me. Why am I bringing that up? Because Nick, the very people like me that was defending him at first, when I realized that you turned, oh, you're going to get this work, ninja. But you felt comfortable enough getting mad at black folks for us calling you out. But notice how y'all don't never have that energy to check them Zionists. How come you don't have that same kind of energy for them? The people that take your jobs and careers. Answer me. Where does all that energy go that you got for me? But the people that's actually trying to destroy your career, that make you cut the check, that makes a phone call so that you lose your job and you can't pay your rent or your mortgage, Tamika, or whatever you got going. How come they don't have that same kind of energy for the people that are actually trying to destroy them? Have y'all noticed that pattern? Why are you sucking up to them? What you scared of? Oh, I see y'all. They ain't the only one. I said they ain't the only one. There's no enemy that get to be off limit. Everything that we do, of course, we're wise about it. We know we're on certain platforms and we know we only go. But just the idea that I'm not going to address you, period. No, the damn devil is a lie. Baby. No, that's not how they go. What are we doing, family? You can't claim to be a voice for black folks and you're not effectively defending black folks from those that's actually trying to destroy black people. Shame, Miss Sharifa. Back to this sister. Let me hurry up. Everybody hit that thumbs up, share, share, share.
But Akima, but Akima,
disrespectful to people in Minnesota who have launched and sustained this boycott, along with our people around the nation. Because I got to give it up to Black folks around the nation for having self-discipline, making a conscious decision that they're not going to spend their Black dollars in Target, and calling out the BS that we all witnessed this week.
But that's my whole point.
Bryant tried to call off this boycott.
But that's
our people.
But that's my point.
Standing firm and not believing the hype from media outlets who are pretending that they don't know what the truth actually is.
But that's my point. There are people all around the country who have participated. And so even though Target is based in Minneapolis, you've had people across the country. You've had other folks.
Watch this, y'all.
It's a national boycott.
Right, I understand that. That's
around the country. But don't dilute the leadership of the people on the ground in Minnesota. Because you and I had a conversation about this very thing. And I told you at the time that Jamal, Tamika, Nina are not credible.
Okay.
That is why I would not join the national coalition that you wanted to form in the middle of all of this.
No, you and I had a conversation. You and I had a conversation.
Well, we had a text or email.
Right. No. No, I'm going to say what it is.
I said to you that they're not credible and they're not.
No, I'm going to say what it is. Hold on one second. 1 second. I'm gonna hold on 1 second. Nakima.
With this man in Washington.
Y'all, she just revealed another big secret. In addition to her telling us it was from the beginning that Jamal Bryant was trying to co-opt it. In the beginning, she said Jamal, after that, she confronted him privately, clearly, that what he was doing. What did she say he did? He hired a publicist to go on shows like yours, R0land, CNN, The Breakfast Club, to do what? To gaslight her and to position himself as if he were the mind behind this boycott, the leader of this boycott. Remember she said that. Did you all hear what else she just revealed there? Every time she gets ready to give us some of the most insightful behind the scenes stuff, R0land starts stuttering and talking real loud over her, doesn't he? I'm going to play that part again. Listen close because he's going to be trying to talk over her. But don't miss. I'm scared that y'all missing the most important thing. Y'all know how to do. Vicki pulls out the weeds, baby. Listen.
Around the nation for having self-discipline, making a conscious decision that they're not going to spend their Black dollars in Target, and calling out the BS that we all witnessed this week.
But that's my whole point.
Bryant tried to call off this boycott.
But that's
our people.
But that's my point.
Standing firm and not believing the hype from media outlets who are pretending that they don't know what the truth actually is.
But that's my point. There are people all around the country who have participated.
Listen, y'all.
Even though Target is based in Minneapolis, you've had people across the country. You've had other folks in other cities.
It's a national boycott.
Right, I understand that. That's
around the country. But don't dilute the leadership of the people on the ground in Minnesota. Because you and I had a conversation about this very thing. And I told you at the time that Jamal, Tamika, and Nina are not credible.
Okay.
That is why I would not join the national coalition that you wanted to form in the middle of all of this.
Did y'all catch that explosive 16, 17, 18, 19,000 bombs that she released there? She said, I told you then that Tamika, Nina, and Jamal were not credible. Once again, R0land tried to talk over her, but she said something else that R0land tried to do. She said, while you were trying to create a coalition between us in the middle of this, y'all ain't listening. Y'all ain't listening. She said, I told you, because she talked about the time frame early on, where she contacted R0land and said, I told you that Tamika, Nina, and Jamal were not credible when you were trying to get us to create a coalition in the middle of this. And then R0land started talking over her so she don't tell us that bit of information. Another huge bombshell. I'm bringing this up because when I say something to you all about what's going on, I don't be needing confirmations. But when they come down, they be really exposing what I've been telling you for years about them devils. and even some of you that go along with some of the stuff that they're doing. Some of you have done actually more with the Target boycotts than you ever did with anything actionable with reparations and some of the stuff that we're trying to do. Y'all's mind don't even go that way. Some of you on what you can do, or what chapters you can start, what action you can take when you hear Vicki Dillard say certain things. That's why I'm bringing this up too. Y'all listen, but I digress. Y'all listen one more time how he try to talk over her when she explosively exposed the fact that she been told him they weren't credible. But so before any of us knew, all this spilled out in the news, right? Before Jamal Bryant came out and said X, Y, and Z, before all this, right? She said, R0land, I messaged you and told you they weren't credible. And I told you when you was trying to get us to do a coalition. What the hell was R0land trying to get her on the phone with them to do a coalition? What conversation did R0land have with Tamika, Mallory behind the scenes? What conversation did R0land have with Jamal Bryant? What conversation did Roland Martin have with Nina Turner where he was involved in it, to where he was trying to do a coalition, and to what end? Y'all don't miss the point. The sister is letting you know that from Minneapolis, from the grassroots there, because because the headquarters of Target is there, they had already had an agreement with Target after the George Floyd stuff. Remember I told y'all that some details like that I didn't even know about the boycott? And that they had made agreements of something that they were going to do from 2021. Y'all remember? I said, y'all hear her say that? Her point was, Ninja, we didn't need y'all for that. We did that locally. The hell is y'all coming in like we needed your help for? Do y'all understand that? It's cute that you want to join, Ninja, but what is you trying to co-opt this for when it's already in motion? Stuff is in motion. The lady didn't say she was on the phone with them for more assistance. She said, no, y'all saw we already had a good thing going. Look, y'all. I'm trying to show y'all, like I showed you before when R0land was plotting with Hillary behind the scenes, her team. And that came out in the WikiLeaks. They play footsie with power brokers, y'all, for individual biscuits. Then they come out like they're real activists, like they're a real media person, they care about you, to coerce you to do stuff so that they can make sure that their rent is paid for the next month. So they can make sure that their mortgage is good for the next year. So they can be better positioned to have access to a CEO or a politician that they normally never would, while turning a blind eye to pedophilia. Some of them. Do y'all see how they go? She's further exposing them. The reason why this is important, hearing it from her, is because she is someone that still believed in the system. And she telling y'all that the people that's in the system that's black looking are full of you know what. This is why he's really stuttering hard, because she's not a Vicki Dillard to where y'all know where I stand. It's real clear. I don't be blending in and mixing up stuff. You ain't gonna be confused about where I'm at with stuff. This is what's a devastation to R0land. That's why he's trying to stop it, because he's thinking right now in his mind, wait till Vicki hear this. She giving Vicki Dillard credibility. See, that's how they mind go. You see?
Off this boycott.
Well, that's
our people.
But that's my point.
Standing firm and not believing the hype from media outlets who are pretending that they don't know what the truth actually is.
But that's my point. There are people all around the country
I'm gonna let it,
who have participated.
I know I'm playing this part again. Listen again, but I'm gonna play a few more seconds after, because I want you to hear something else that she's gonna say right after.
So even though Target is based in Minneapolis, you've had people across the country. You've had other folks in other cities.
It's a national boycott.
Right, I understand that. That's
around the country. But don't dilute the leadership of people on the ground in Minnesota. Because you and I had a conversation about this very thing. And I told you at the time that Jamal, Tamika, and Nina are not credible.
Okay.
That is why I would not join the national coalition that you wanted to form in the middle of all of this.
No, you and I had a conversation. You and I had a conversation.
But we had a text or email.
Right. No. No, I'm going to say what it is.
I said to you that they're not credible when they're not.
No, I'm going to say what it is. Hold on one second. One second. I'm going to hold on one second. Nakima.
Stand with this man in Washington trying to call for an end to the boycott. Now they're trying to save face, talking about they're still in it. We don't need you in it. Go find something else to do with your time that doesn't involve confusing Black America at a time like this. How can you stand with this man in Washington, then turn around and say, oh, I'm still boycotting. Oh, my organization. No, you made a choice, and so did we.
So I'll say
I'm
this.
just
So
not
again,
here for any of it.
so
I'm not
so
here
for the
for it.
purpose of the audience, when there was the meeting,
Did y'all hear that? How many of y'all know Tamika came back later talking about Tamika tomorrow? No, we still that she ain't gonna be going there no more. Nina Turner come back. Nina Turner came back and tried to backtrack, and she's saying they full of S. She said, "Why would you guys stand there at that press conference with him, knowing that he was getting ready to say that? And now you're trying to act, y'all. Don't take too long to come to the right conclusions, family." See, Tamika worked with that New York mayor now. See, they think they the stuff. And I believe that certain people do certain things. That by when people get involved in certain things, I think they like to get involved in certain things, especially when they're close to a politician, to make it look like they're effective. We don't know what conversations may or may not, I'm being clear, have had with Tamika. And man, damn it, you don't know what kind of little stuff she got going on to make it look like they effective and to ball it all up like New York had something to do with it, or to make themselves look like they was credible on something. Let me tell y'all something. Jamal Bryant came out talking about he didn't get no personal check. R0land gonna say something later. I think somewhere else because I had to do some research. I told y'all I had to when I do research on him, it do a number on my body. I'm trying to heal. I'm being transparent. So there was a bunch of other research I was doing on this, and you'll hear R0land try to say, well, we didn't get nothing personal out of this, personal money, or we didn't get paid for this. I can say I didn't get paid. Let me tell y'all something. Guess what happened? A part of the thing that Jamal Bryant ended up doing when he tried to lie, people was lying to me. Oh, I just said that my fast for boycott was over with, because the fast was only supposed to be for Lent for 40 days. Not the boycott that was going on for a year. Ninja. Everybody hit that thumbs up button and share. Let's listen to a little bit more and I'm going to stop. Y'all ready? A little bit more.
With Reverend Al Sharpton and the CEO of Target, the former CEO of Target, and Pastor Jamal Bryant and others in April, then there was a whole lot of back and forth. That's when you and I talked, and I texted because, one, I was asking what communication was taking place between y'all. That's when you said you did not want to work with them. That took place in April of 2025. So what I am...
Yeah, and I told you why. I said...
No, I got you.
Work with them. And they don't have integrity, R0land. And as you just saw this week, that is a clear example of them not having integrity.
So I'm asking you
why would Tamika and Nina show up in Washington when this man's agenda was to call for an end to the boycott? Now they're backtracking, claiming the boycott is still on. We don't need this kind of confusion in our community. They can, if they have all this organizing prowess that they claim, then prove it and show us what else you can do. We don't need their help with the Target boycott, obviously. And if the Target boycott wasn't successful, you wouldn't have a divide and conquer strategy where they're sitting here meeting with white leadership from Target, calling for an end to the boycott and nothing to show for our community.
So
y'all, why were they meeting with white leadership at Target? Reginald, your gift, beloved, is blessed 1,000-fold. Vicki Dillard News, we love you. I love you back, precious. Y'all listen to her. She's exposing so many things. Earlier she exposed the fact that Jamal Bryant and how they hire PR firms to go on the Breakfast Club, shows like R0land, shows like CNN, in order to position himself like he's the leader of it. Then she exposed the fact that behind the scenes, she told R0land last year that Tamika wasn't credible, Nina Turner wasn't credible, Jamal Bryant wasn't credible, and she exposed the fact that R0land was sitting up there trying to do a coalition with all them. A year ago, almost, she told him that. Then she tells us that they sat there and met with white leadership in Target.
a bunch of garbage.
So I'm gonna go
and
back.
It's not from serious people don't do things like this.
And I'm gonna go back to the
They don't.
I'm gonna go back to the original question. You're saying the boycott is continuing. You said that. So the question is,
R0land's doing nothing but stuttering. So let me skip past because I gotta stop. I think it's one more section, y'all. Can y'all be patient with me so we can listen to a little bit more, and then I'll finish off. I think it's close to this. Let me see if this is the part.
The word out that the boycott is still going on.
No, he's not.
Within
No. He's not.
individual communities. Well, I am an organizer, R0land. You are a media person. Okay, let's understand.
I know that. And so what I'm asking is,
how many protests, demonstrations, everything else that I have successfully organized. So as an organizer, understanding decentralized leadership, it's asking people, whenever one, continue to spread the word in your networks and in your community that the Target boycott is still going on, and as a matter of fact, to double down. Number two, if people want to organize actions within their community, whether it's a demonstration outside of Target, in Target, letter writing, please do that. People can know how to participate, and they have been. My problem comes in when you have people positioning themselves as leaders who have a completely different agenda to co-opt, to cause confusion, to call off a successful boycott. Why are you involved? You made your bed at the Washington, D.C. Press Club.
So the reason I asked the question, so the reason I asked the question,
that the boycott was over. So why are you continuing to be involved? That's my question.
The reason I asked the question, because you just said,
y'all, she is exposing them real deep. Why are they involved? She's making it clear the thing was successful without your involvement. And she keeps saying that you're trying to co-opt it. This was not the woman's first time saying it. As y'all heard, she directly contacted R0land and told him that. But don't forget, she directly contacted who? Jamal Bryant last year. And what did she say he did after she exposed him directly? She said he hired a publicist to go on CNN, to go on The Breakfast Club, she said, and to go on shows like yours, R0land, to position himself as the leader of their boycott. Look at me. So the question becomes, why would they do that, right? And then Jamal Bryant comes out. You'll hear Tamika and some of us maybe say something like, well, we didn't get no money. Look at me, y'all. In some of my research, this is what I was trying to tell you earlier and I forgot to say. Do you know R0land and them had black banks, and I forget what other interest group that they wanted Target to ball all up in there? So while they're sitting there telling you that they didn't get a check, they're sitting there having Target direct funds and or tangibles and resources to some of their specific pet people and groups. And then they turn around and tell you what they did for the black community, and you ain't got nothing to show for it. And the sister is telling you that before this even popped off recently, she said that Target owed them, they made an agreement on something they said they was going to do in Minneapolis related to the George Floyd stuff from an agreement from 2021. And she keeps asking, why the hell are y'all in this? We did not need you. So she's showing you how they try to take grassroots effective work, attach their name on it to get certain visibility, to put certain pressure on certain corporations so that they could turn around and have them corporations direct funds to them and their buddies. And then they'll tell you they didn't get a quote unquote check. But now your interest groupie and your little boule buddies did. Did your fraternity brothers get it? Did your sorority sisters get it? Did so-and-so, so-and-so? See, that's the kind of stuff. See, that's why I tell y'all, be careful. Don't just say you personally got paid. Because see, they like to easily debunk that. Do y'all understand now why I'm telling you all what language to use? Why we got to also follow the money and look who's connected to who? Last part, I think I'm skipping here. I'm saying this is the last part for sure, but I'm not sure if the exact part of where this starts. One section here. Let me see if this is it. Let me see.
In terms encouraging people to get involved with the boycott, but to have good intentions, to operate with integrity, and to be truthful.
Have y'all communicated? Well, one second, Nakima. I've got 2 more minutes because I've got 3 guests waiting.
Watch this.
Well, you spent 10 minutes letting us watch the theatrical performance.
First of all, Nakima. First of all, this is my show. And I covered that today. Now, Nakima, one second. Nakima. I played that because
y'all didn't hear what she said because R0land talking over her. Did you all hear said that you interfered with this boycott, R0land? You did that. Did y'all hear that? All the major where she's leaking the strongest bit of information, he's stuttering hard and loud. So we don't hear the details, and so that don't come out. Listen again.
First of all, Nakima. First of all, this is my show, and I covered that today. Now, Nakima, one second. Nakima. I played that because it actually happened to.
She said you interfered with the boycott. Notice R0land is focused on the part of her getting upset because y'all didn't see because it's too long. When R0land, before he brought her on, he played a lot of Jamal Bryant's apology, and that's when I played the part where she said that she basically needed a cleanse after listening to that theatrical performance. So she's going, as she ending her part on that segment of the show, she's making it clear when he's rushing her off, saying, "Hey, you would have had more time if you didn't play 10 minutes worth of him that theatrics over there." So R0land is explaining to her why he played the theatrics, and she is saying, "R0land, you interfered with the boycott." I ain't got time to show y'all, but yes, he did. And that is what I wanted you to pay attention to when she exposed him for wanting to have a coalition early on with Jamal Bryant, with Tamika, with Nina Turner. Don't miss that. R0land was trying to do that part too. All of their behinds are busted. Because she's making the point. This was not some little struggling boycott. This was an effective boycott without the need for y'all. And this is what we try to tell you all when you listen to voices like mine. When the boule and the establishment Negroes can't, they know we're more powerful than them. Where it matters, we're more powerful than them. You all get it twisted if you don't see a platform that's got 2 million subscribers and 500,000 views. And then you all automatically assume that those fools are worth something. But if you did a reparations rally, or if you did some other event where people need to show up and show respect, see how many people show up to show respect to them and go crazy because they say that you actually changed their life. We're not talking about no one-off comment or that day how many views went viral. Listen to the people's testimony of people who say you changed their lives. Not, girl, you sounded good on that news show that time. Girl, that was a good, you got him when you told him about the Jim Crow laws. That was slick how you said that. That ain't life-changing, fool. See, that's enough for some of y'all to just get off on watching TV and somebody getting some white supremacists. That ain't enough for me. That's not enough for me. That's not enough for me. And they turn around and tell you to vote. And then they tell you to shut the hell up talking about tangibles. Or they spend half their time talking about immigrants and deplorable conditions of a detention facility. And you got Black Americans languishing in prisons where people are actually dying because of the deplorable conditions there. See, Vicki's not going to do that. Vicki don't just go off on you orally. And then I turn around and say, well, at the end of the day, still go out there and just support them for nothing. You better watch that, y'all. They gaslighting you all year long. They'll make you think they saying something good. And then they keep you locked in the system. And the R0land Martin that called me out my name and cussed me out and talk about my hair. The R0land Martin that called us simple Simon mother efforts because we wanted reparations and we disagree with him politically. Notice Have you all heard him call the Epstein people simple Simon mother effers? Have you heard R0land call for a full-fledged investigation into all persons named in there so we can get to the bottom line and hold all individuals that have been credibly accused of pedophilia, murder, and some most sick, twisted stuff? Have you all heard that same energy from him about stuff like that? That should tell you everything you need to know. Is this it? I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. Is this it? Ricky Smiley gonna bring on R0land a week or so ago to talk about this boycott stuff because all them weirdos together. Even though Ricky Smiley said he on the fence about it because he don't 100% agree with how Jamal Bryant did it, but you know he's still weak. Y'all know I went off on Ricky Smiley real bad, and he deserved it in some more things for how he allowed his deceased son to be used for political stuff. Y'all remember that? There's a whole nother story, but I'm gonna leave it alone. Where he brings on R0land, and he's talking about the boycott, and most of Ricky Smiley's audience, they're pissed at Jamal Bryant. They was calling in, right? Because I don't watch his little weird stuff. But listen to this part.
I've seen a video of Pastor Bryant in front of a Target store.
But you all saw this too, but I'm just gonna play it because it's easy for me to get to.
Announcing that the boycott was officially over. So take a listen and listen to this announcement.
Watch this.
It's been a year and I'm grateful. They didn't think we could do it, but we did. History has just been made. The most effective and powerful boycott by Black people since the Montgomery bus boycott 70 years ago. We asked for 4 things, and I'm grateful to God that we've got 3 of them.
Listen.
They have invested $2 billion back into the Black community as they pledged after the death of George Floyd. On top of the $2 billion, an additional $100 million to immediate organizations that are meeting the needs within our community. Number 2, we asked them to partner with HBCUs. They have found, and we have found collectively, one that will do our pilot program with 12 other HBCUs to follow. Number 3, a reimagining of DEI. It's been a rough year for our community. 300,000 Black women have lost their jobs, and this is the highest unemployment for our people in years. The only thing that we didn't get accomplished, but we're still working towards, is an investment into Black banks. And I'm believing by grace, it's going to get done. This new CEO has come handling business, and I'm glad to work with him. The immediate target with fast has come to an end. We claim.
So on the one hand, Jamal Bryant, R0land, all them will tell you they didn't get paid, but he just slipped up and told you that they agreed to fund his pilot program, their pilot program, HBCUs and others, he said. So FBA, y'all got work to do. We got work to do. I'm doing my part, you do yours. What do I need y'all to do? I need y'all to go look into all the people that he claimed got all that money. And we need to tie it back to R0land and his associates, his buddies, his friends, entities, whatever. Same with Tamika, same with everybody else. That's our job now. Where did all this magical money go to? Did y'all get any money? I didn't get nothing. And why is it? And this is the point. Y'all got involved, it appears, in a successful grassroots boycott so that you could turn around and attach a high-profile national face like y'all's on it to redirect money into your hands because it was a high-profile, successful boycott against who? Target Giant that actually had the money to redirect resources into some of their hands or their buddies' hands. And another bit of research I did before I got on, I was watching R0land somewhere else. He was the one, R0land, that brought up for them to do something for certain black banks and some other entity. The hell are we talking about? That was part of Jamal Bryant's call off the boycott fast. And the lady said, why would y'all meet with white Target people and they haven't done nothing for our community? She said, Target is the one that made that agreement with us about George Floyd from 2021. So what the hell is Jamal Bryant on here talking about George Floyd, throwing that in the mix? And most of the public didn't know that when he made that comment just a few days ago, how many of y'all knew that one of the top organizers of it from last year had called out Jamal Bryant to his face, and that he turned around and hired publicists so that he could get national attention as the leader for this? How many of you all knew that last year she told R0land, who is a high-profile media figure, that these folks were not credible? Did R0land tell the audience that? Did R0land tell the audience before recent time, last year, shortly after it got started, that the top lady that organized it told you, R0land, as a media person, that these high-profile people are full of ish? Did you all know that before recently? Because I didn't. I didn't know that lady privately told R0land that. I know that. So y'all's job now is not to let. So the reason why, let me say this, Jamal Bryant, the reason why he heard him apologize real good, in my opinion, is because he don't want us to scrutinize any further. He does not want us to ask any questions about who got all that money he claims. That's what's going on. He does not want us to see. That's why R0land cut her off, in my opinion. When she said, R0land, you was the one that was trying to get me to get a coalition with them. All of the stuff that we need to know, she's sitting up there putting out there. And don't forget, what else did she say? She said there's media that's pretending like that they don't even know what's what. That's the reason why voices like mine matter. And that's the reason why when Essence Magazine, a couple of plus years ago, sued Baldwin, a well-known legendary black bookstore in New Orleans during the Essence Fest, when they also added a couple of other black women in their lawsuit, other people were trying to ask Essence to deal with it another way. Essence did not take those people off the lawsuit, and they certainly didn't close it until I got involved in it. And I involved y'all because our energy does something different. And that was after that time, after I announced the victory from what we did, that's when Essence Magazine tried to shut me down after that and block me on different platforms and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Because my heart is pure when I go to war for somebody. When I fight for somebody. And I'm not thinking about meeting with the enemy behind my people's back to screw them. So when you all support other work that I do, you ensure that sis is able to take care of my team, that we do that a goodwill, and make sure that basic, simple expenses are taken care of so that I can do what I do, even with the other challenges that I face. And that's why you would do well not to complain about that. And if you call somebody who's doing what they can independently a grifter that you know care about you, and you feel like, well, I got to give $30 to go to that, $100 to go to that. What's she selling the calendar for? Ninja, you deserve what you get. Don't be no thief. Don't you dare expect somebody like me to do what I do. And you're not going to put nothing in? No, that's not how they go. No. Because look what they doing behind your back. And they keep getting busted real strong. And they're getting busted by people that believe in the system. People that genuinely, like her, believe in the system, that shouldn't be believing in the system. Because she says some other things about immigrants and some other stuff. That's fine. But I'm not mad at the sister with what she, for the most part, did in that interview. I'm not mad at her at all. Again, there are some other things that they threw all in the boycott stuff, and some, that's not. But let's focus on, y'all understand what I'm saying. So don't just say, well, Vicki, they said that they defended the immigrant over here. They balled it up. I heard that too, and all that other stuff. But focus on the main things that we need to be focused on. We need to know from R0land, Jamal, Bryant, Tamika, Nina Turner, and the rest of them. They was up to something. They decided, in my opinion, I believe that it would make sense to me that the reason why they involved themselves in a grassroots group, boycott that nobody asked they asked to participate in is because the people on the ground were effective in applying pressure to Target. And so because they who are at the top, like the Nina Turners and the Tamika Nim and the R0land Nim, they decided to turn around and use it to direct that money to some of their buddies, their friends, and associates. And even Jamal Bryant tells you when he called off the boycott and then later got backlash, he gonna tell you they agreed to sponsor his HBC pilot stuff and then some other people. But then they'll turn around and tell you that they didn't get a check. You better pay attention to the stuff that they say. That's why I tell you, y'all better look at where the money's at. Because he slipped up and even told us there that they sponsoring the HBCU thing he's doing. Look at me. Before I ever came online, was scraping my money together to support Black students in colleges. What the hell do we need to have a Jamal Bryant's ass screwing up the minds of our young people? And why the hell would I invest over the years as I had it into HBCU students, but they wouldn't invite a Vicki Dillard voice there? Why would Jamal Bryant, why would we need your punk ass program in HBC when they need a revolutionary spirit like mine? And I backed it, not because I had millions of dollars. It's because if I got 500 at a time, 250 at a time, sometimes 1,000 at a time, guess what Vicki did? Took it from her own personal resources, her money that came to my business, to give back. Before I was online and since I've been online. No, that ain't no $250 million. No, it's not $100 million. But it was a seed. And I've been consistent. And that, my family, is what you all need to be looking at. And you better stop normalizing when you hear Negroes. I almost said niggas. I didn't say niggas, but I almost said niggas. I didn't say niggas. I almost said niggas. Be sitting up there talking about they done sponsored one of their HBCU programs. What the hell do you need your child's brain tainted with that weak energy for? Stop normalizing people that talk like that. First of all, when Jamal was talking and looking into the camera, I was saying to the camera, stop looking at me like that. Y'all be talking about how Vicki can be country on 1 minute, but Vicki don't play with me. I just be playing with y'all how I be talking and playing and banging the gavel. You should be concerned when your preacher voices come out like he be talking. Why is he talking like that? Stop that. That's a spirit talking like that. When you all want people to look professional and sound professional, do you know that's a spirit that keeps you asleep and docile? See, when voices be monotone, you niggas stay confused and sleep. They sitting there reporting, they sitting there with their buddies that committed pedophile and sacrificial murder, and y'all still moving on like they didn't just say murder, pedophilia. Y'all still be going yawning, munching on peanuts, nigga. Like that didn't warrant everything in you to holler and scream and call for capital punishment. Like now. You see how that goes? Let me get out of here, family. Get your mini gavels. Go to my website, get your mini gavels. Family, I got only a couple of my last season magazines for my women, but guess what? Go to my website. It's pinned above at Vicki Planet. The new pre-Venus. It's so cute. It's so sexy. And I got one for men that's called Hannibal. Baby, I'm revealing the commanding secrets of Hannibal and commerce secrets of Hannibal. Baby, it's good. Ooh, it's going to blow your mind. High, twitching, twirling that. Because, baby, one of Hannibal's secrets on the battlefield, one of his battle strategies, baby, it was connected to war and commerce, baby. Y'all ain't ready for it. But before I go, even though I told you all the reason why I don't get deep into the boycott stuff with Target is because the thing I believe Black America need to be focused on is them using organizing power for reparations. All these little split off things I don't get, but I ain't mad at the sister, especially the local stuff that they did that was putting pressure on Target over George Floyd. I love that. So I ain't mad. If y'all for it, go for it. But I'm not saying that I'm for the Target stuff. I'm for Black folks need to get their hips with the reparations. That's why I believe all that's supposed to be, because it's interconnected to all of our major issues, 90% of the issues, and it has an effect on corporations and companies. So I'm not understanding why we keep doing all this one-off boycotting. When we can get to the bottom line of economics when we come together and use that type of energy. The same thing we was telling the Democrats. We were telling the Democrats, we're happy to vote for you all if you all do policies about giving us tangibles. Why didn't y'all use all that organizing power to assist all Black folks so we can shut the stuff down? That's the part I'm not understanding. But I'm not mad at the sister about this. You understand what I'm saying? I want us to learn what we can learn. I brought that up to say, guess who's the only person I know that was dealing with this last year? Not the boycott, because I did a broadcast on the boycott. How many of y'all see the date of this Al Sharpton from the AP News? Y'all see this date on this article of Al Sharpton? What date did y'all see there? Y'all, the light is all in the way. Let me see. Let me wipe this too. Can y'all see this date? I'm out of here. I promise you after this. What date is this article? Can y'all see it? Let me pull it back. Y'all, the light is making it real. Let me turn it. I'm sorry. Now it's too big. Let me do it like this. There we go. Y'all see the date? Can y'all see the date there? April 17, 2025, right? Somebody said last year, right? Do y'all remember what happened last year? Y'all remember what happened last year? What does this headline say? Y'all see this? So right after the Target boycott last year, because this is from April, Al Sharpton already set his funny looking self down to meet with the Target. That's when I did a broadcast on it, not because I was joining the Target stuff, but because I was saying, what is his funny looking self in this for? Y'all remember that? How many of y'all remember last year Vicki was doing broadcasts? I think I did it on African Diaspora News Channel too. That's what it was too. I probably did one here and there. How many of y'all know that I did, I jumped in on the Target broadcasting because I'm like, what is Al Sharpton's funny looking self involved in that? But that's not the only part I brought up. How many of y'all remember what I brought up? This article from the AP. Y'all see? Y'all see? What does it say? Al Sharpton calls meeting with Target CEO amid DEI backlash. Very constructive and candid. I brought up something that I found out. Y'all listening? Watch this. I said, this was last year, right? That was my only thing. I didn't get into it to tell people to do it or not to do it. I told you my reasons for what I'm doing, but I'm not mad at the people locally, you know, for what they're doing, right? I'm not mad at nobody about that. But this is the part that got me, was the real what I found out about Al Sharpton and Jamal Bryant. Watch this. What does the article say? It says, y'all look, Target's chief executive officer met Thursday with Reverend Al Sharpton, whose civil rights organization has encouraged consumers to avoid U.S. retailers that scale back their diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, DEI, right? Y'all listen. Sharpton called the meeting with Target CEO Brian Cornell very constructive and candid, according to an update from his National Action Network. Two other NAN representatives, National Board Chair Dr. W. Franklin Richardson and Senior Advisor Cara Wallace, also attended the meeting at the organization's New York headquarters. Are y'all listening? Quote, I'm going to inform. Now, before I read it, y'all think I'm making this up. Remember, we're reading this from last year about Al Sharpton. So a few months after the boycott, right? Al Sharpton already sat down with some of the Target, with the CEO of Target, right? What's that statement say Al Sharpton said about his meeting? Y'all see it there? This one, this paragraph. He says, I'm going to inform our allies. Y'all see that? Including Reverend Dr. who? Jamal Bryant, of our discussion, what my feelings are, and we will go from there, Sharpton said in a statement. The next paragraph says Bryant, an Atlanta area pastor, organized a website called targetfast.org to recruit Christians for a 40-day Target boycott. Other faith leaders endorsed the protest, which started with the beginning of Lent on March 5th. Now, remember, the sister told us that Jamal Bryant was exactly doing this to position himself like this was his boycott, remember? Al Sharpton, shortly after it started, met with them, said it was constructive, but he said, one more time, class, he said he was going to do what? I'm going to inform our allies, including Reverend Dr. Jamal Bryant, of our discussion, what my feelings are, and we will go from there. Why is Vicki bringing up Jamal Bryant in this context from an article from last year about Reverend Al Sharpton? When Reverend Al Sharpton says, read it again for yourself. Look, when Reverend Al Sharpton says, I'm going to inform our allies, including Reverend Dr. Jamal Bryant, of our discussion, one would think that Jamal Bryant didn't know about it, right? I mean, or wasn't present, right? If Al Sharpton is telling the press, read it in quotes. If Al Sharpton is telling the press, giving them an update on his meeting where Target says, I'm going to inform the press release, rather, in the statement, says, I'm going to inform our allies, including Reverend Dr. Jamal Bryant, of our discussion, what my feelings are, and we will go from there, Sharpton said in the statement. Somebody said, Vicki, what's wrong with that part? Vicki, what did you tell us last year about that statement? Look at me, y'all, because that's what I read too. I had assumed that Jamal Bryant wasn't there. But guess what I happened to do? I suffered again for the Black community. How, Vicki? I watched a segment of Native Land, Angela Rye, and Tiffany Cross. And what's the dude's name? The brother that's on there with them. What's his name? Because, yeah, I know, don't nobody watch it. Watch them not for no instructions. People watch maybe for fun, to laugh and to scream and just to pass the time away. But ain't nobody listening for no political instruction. Nobody listens to them for that. It's just for to play, to pass the time away. Andrew Gillum, thank you. Look at me, y'all. Why did Vicki do a broadcast on this last year, talking about this very article? Because Al Sharpton gave the impression that Jamal Bryant wasn't there. Because he said, I'm going to what? Inform our allies, including Reverend Dr. Jamal Bryant, of our discussion, what my feelings are, and we will go from there. Well, guess what happened? I just so happened to watch an episode, not even a full episode, a segment, I should say, of a clip of Native Land. And guess what Angela Rye said? some kind of way she knew about the meeting and talked with one of them. Jamal Bryant was sitting in the meeting with Al Sharpton. So I did a broadcast, putting the receipts up, and I asked whoever was listening, why in the hell would Reverend Al Sharpton last year come out and give a statement and say, I'm going to inform our allies, including Dr. Jamal Bryant. But I find out from Angela Rye that Jamal Bryant was actually sitting in the meeting. Somebody just said, Vicki, I love you, girl. I love you back. So last year I called out that it was suspicious that Reverend Al Sharpton would give the impression that Jamal Bryant wasn't sitting in that meeting the first time. And I asked the public, why in the hell isn't Jamal Bryant telling us that he was sitting there? Loudly and publicly. Family, these are the types of questions and the investigation we need to be doing. Behind the scenes, at that time when I called this out last year, I had no idea that the sister told R0land that Jamal ain't credible, Nina Turner ain't credible, and Tamika ain't credible. Those are her words. I had no idea that shortly after the boycott, she directly told Jamal Bryant that she felt that he was trying to co-opt their successful boycott against Target. I had no idea that he at the time was hiring publicists to go on CNN, The Breakfast Club, and other shows that she mentioned to position himself as if he was the leader of that boycott. I just asked the question last year when I read that. And I just so happened to see a segment on Native Land where she revealed, because you know they all part of the Boule class. When I say they Boule, that means that R0land for sure. R0land say he Boule. When I say them Boule, I'm talking about Boule type folks, meaning they think they elite and they really nobodies. Angela, she's a part of those groups, even if she's not technically Boule. She's with them. She believes in that mindset. So that's when she was on that conversation about the Target stuff. And that's when she revealed he was in the meeting. And I said to the audience, why in the hell would Reverend Al Sharpton, with his lying ass, give the impression that he's going to inform Jamal Bryant as if he wasn't sitting there in the meeting? Do y'all see where I'm going by bringing that up? That's what I brought up last year. I kept asking, why did Jamal Bryant, why is he real quiet about the fact that he was actually physically in the meeting? And why in the hell did Al Sharpton issue a press statement giving the impression that Jamal Bryant wasn't sitting right there with him? Again, I played the receipts on the video from when Angela, I believe it was, whichever one of them on the show, they're the ones that said it. And if there is some discrepancy in that, that's why I posited the question to the public. Why was Jamal Bryant sitting there? And why in the hell would Al Sharpton give the impression that he wasn't? Like he gonna inform him. And then Angela Rye slipped up in the middle of them talking about this whole conversation. She slipped up and said that Jamal Bryant was there. My point, even though I didn't know that other stuff was going on in the background, is that that's deception and that they were plotting something. That's the point I'm trying to make. And if it's not true, fine. I don't believe in just throwing something out there. But the Boule believe in each other. And Angela was the one that slipped up and said that Jamal was actually there. But Vicki mind go to the AP article that was quoting a statement from Al Sharpton, giving the impression that he was going to inform Jamal Bryant. Reading that, you would know or think that he would sit his hips right there too. Miss Sharifa, I am not playing with you. She said, not a minister, but a sinister child. Y'all know she's a poetic prophetess. But y'all listen. Why am I bringing this up? Because this has everything to do with something that we need to use as a strategy to go after them for where this money's at. Right now. All those people that Jamal Bryant, the clip that I showed you when he called off the boycott and said some of the money was being, that when he talked to Target, they finna put this money this place and that. And he said that HBCU initiative that he and others too. And now we're looking to see about them putting money with some black banks. No, we want to know where all this is. That's the one strategy, right? And the other thing, family, is that since the Congressional Black Caucus and since other black people in DC, like the Simone Sanders and people that got DC connections like Joy Reid and them, our job now is to ask and demand investigations specifically with them to see what they knew or may have known related to Epstein, anything related, and whether or not they may have been aware of crimes against humanity. That's the first thing, public hearings, investigations. And from there, we decide whether or not, through our actions, there should be trials. But all of us need to be talking about holding them accountable for that and the COVID pandemic propaganda. Because all of that, y'all, is connected to crimes against humanity. Do y'all understand? Why is Vicki saying that? Because if they're not doing the bidding of getting us tangibles, we need to make sure that they're held accountable. You're a fraud. You're a devil. So since you don't do our bidding, let's get the media, let's get politicians, let's get the Simone Sanders, let's get the Joy Reids, all of them, and see what they may or may not have known. Public hearings, release information, what they knew, what they heard, because all of them would have had a duty to report this stuff. Since y'all ain't got time for FBA, we ain't got time for you. This is how the Israel, Palestine, Iran is all our business. Yeah, that's how we finna do this. That's a strategy. And we're going to start with you because y'all flew your hips to Israel 1 month before October 7th. You got us messed up. Somebody just said, great program. You're welcome, beloved. I love you so much. Family, get all your yummy, yummy stuff, your magazines, your mini gavels, your calendars. The pre-sales are coming on. We're going to start shipping them the magazines out in a couple of plus weeks. I promise you it's going to be worth it. It's going to be so yummy. And most importantly, the information in there is going to absolutely change your life if you implement what I say. I love you so much. Make sure you subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at Vicki X Dillard. Follow me on both of my Facebook pages at Vicki Dillard. I got a fan page there and I got a regular page. Then make sure you ain't following these fakies. I came off of TikTok because all that little Israeli little spine bull crap they doing over there. And I was already tripping with TikTok beforehand because they were snatching down my stuff for no reason. That's how you know them devils is controlling all that. You can follow me on X at Dillard Vicki, and also some of my other pre-records on the African Diaspora News Channel app. Yes, I love you all so much. VickiPlanet.com for anything else that you need from me. I can't wait to see you again.